Hello, welcome to 30 Minutes. I'm Rick Anthony. For much too long, the imposing building at 109 East Lancaster in Wayne has looked sad, barely a vestige of its former stature as the magical epicenter for movie lovers who luxuriated in plush velvet seats for a short time were transported to the places and events projected on the giant screen. For generations, the Anthony Wayne Theater was the best of the main line. In the evening, its brightly lit marquee and two spires illuminated the Art Deco facade of the historic building. Over the years, the big screen was overtaken by the small screen TV, then by technology that produced multiple entertainment options at the touch of the finger. The Anthony Wayne Theater was a grudging holdout, and although it's showing its age, managed to keep its doors open until 2020, when it became a casualty of the COVID epidemic. Since then, the community has waited for news about the building and its use. Rumors abounded, each far short of the high hopes the community had had for the Anthony Wayne. The building was in disrepair, making it financially untenable for prospective operators to revive it. The future of the nearly 100-old structure was looking grim until Todd saw the opportunity where others saw only daunting challenges. With a group of other enthusiasts, Todd has drawn up a master plan to breathe new life into the Anthony Wayne Theater as a multi-purpose community hub featuring first-run movies, live performances, and other must-have attractions to entice patrons of all ages to the center of Wayne. With us today is the mastermind behind the Anthony Wayne Theater organization, Todd Scott. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you.
I appreciate very much your being here. The Anthony Wayne Theater is, as you know, diagonally across from where we're sitting here at MLTV 21. I'm not even sure you ever knew we were here.
I saw the sign.
You saw the sign.
I've known about you.
Well, every time I've left this building, and you can't help, you look over at the Wayne, you see how sad it is, how dark it is, and remember what it used to be. So I'm delighted to have you here. And I had been hearing rumors that there was something afoot.
A lot of rumors.
Yeah, a lot of rumors. But you never knew because there had been so many rumors before.
Yep.
Not all good. There was going to be a catering service. There was going to be turned into a gym, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
And none of it sounded good. And we all hoped that Bages would be able to hold out and do something with it before flipping it.
Yep.
So thank God
you
came along and your other enthusiast, as I said. Who are you? I've been a part of the entrepreneurial community in the greater Philadelphia area for a long time. Yep. And I never heard your name. And that probably it's on me. It's not on you.
I just keep my head down and work. I'm from Pottstown. I went to Valley Forge Military Academy. I've lived in Wayne for 30 years, right in Villanova. Less than a mile, as the board is. We all live within a mile of the theater. Yeah. And Wayne means a lot to me. I mean, I grew up, here, but I also, today, my kids all ate at Christopher's and the other restaurants around, and when Dairy Queen was there, went to Dairy Queen. So Wayne means a lot more to me than any other town. It's an amazing home. For me and my family, and I think a lot of people get a lot of joy out of being downtown, as it is now. Yes, so
I agree. It's nice to see it come back.
It is. I know we didn't know for a minute there, weren't sure, but we found out quick. Yeah, I think with these apartments coming, and some of the new businesses are coming, it's not easy to get space down there anymore. Yeah. Everybody's thriving. It's doing very well.
You're a local boy. Yes. You attended and graduated from Valley Forge Military Academy.
Twice.
What?
Twice. I graduated from the high school in '84 and then the college in '86. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it was Valley Forge Military Academy changed my life. It gave me discipline, structure, accountability. Mm-hmm. It gave me, it really awakened leadership in me to a large point. But I think that this, in terms of one thing that you said is, I had this idea for the theater. I think there were so many people that had the idea for this theater. So many people that said, they should, someone should, that should, you know what I mean? Why isn't that? I would drive by and I'd be like, how can that not be something? A movie theater or live thing, something cool downtown. And it's just amazing to me that no one did it before I did it. I just got lucky. Really, really lucky that, the owner was willing to work with us, and the team that I have was willing to work with us to do it. Nothing would happen without this team.
We'll get into that in a minute, because you do have an interesting collection of people. But on the other hand, I mean, there are other theaters, small theaters, Bryn Mawr, Narberth, a couple of others.
Colonial, there's tons.
That came back, but they were boutiques. They showed British, old-time, somewhat exotic movies, and they catered to a relatively small audience.
Yeah.
So financially, it was tough.
Yes.
You've gone beyond that.
Well, to me, it had to be a nonprofit. It couldn't be a for-profit. In order for it to be completely and 100% focused on the community rather than making money, I thought it was very important that it be a 501c3, and that we're still going to make money. We're still going to put money back into it. We're still going to improve it consistently. It'll be run with systems just like any other businesses, but all the profits for it would be put back into it and will benefit the entire community rather than one person or a board or a public company.
So your investors, that include some very prominent people.
Donors.
Donated.
They are investing. You're right. They are. They're investing in the community.
No expectations of a return other than psychic reward.
There will be no return in terms of monetary return.
Right.
They get zip. But what they get, just like when you give to cancer research, or just like when you give to the Boy Scouts or anything else you give to that means something to you, you get the joy of it, but you also get the profit of people improving and everything getting better because you actually chose to do something. That's why I think Bill Gates is giving away his entire fortune so quickly, is because he sees the benefit of giving money for something that it's bigger than us. It's not about Todd. It's not called the Todd Theater. It's my board's theater. It's really the Anthony Wayne and what it means to Wayne.
Will it be an operating board, or will they just be putting up financing?
No, they'll be helping with the operation, but we're going to implement people in the industry that know what they're doing. These things, experts in their field that know what they're doing for each post in the theater. Your
bio includes your experience with Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah.
Which also had quite an impact on your life.
Very big.
Tell me about that.
Well, I went to University of Georgia, and I saw this interview with him, and I thought he was incredibly impressive. He was making a difference in people's lives, and I was in school studying communications, which is great, but I wasn't really changing anybody's life. I was a bouncer. That's how I kept myself going, and I sold everything that I have and moved out to San Diego, California. And on the hope, wing and a prayer of getting a job, luckily they hired me on probation. I went to Sudbury, Massachusetts. That was my first assignment. I knew nothing really. I told them I did. I should say that. But I did not know anything about public speaking. You were a convincing liar. I was I said whatever I had to. I was desperate. I had nothing to go back to. So I was nowhere to go but forward. And my first meeting was at a Weichert Realty in Sudbury, Massachusetts, and they stopped the meeting, and the manager said, "You must leave. You're demoralizing my people." And lucky for me that happened, because it forced me to look back on my public speaking and say, what am I trying to do? Is this about ego, or is this about helping people? So I started recording. In those days, we didn't have recorders. We had to set it up, and it was arduous, I set it up, I recorded it, I wrote down what I did, and I kept doing this process, and I called the company that set meetings, and I told them I'll take any meeting from 1 person to 100. It used to be 10. You had to have 10 for a meeting. And I started taking 10 or 15 meetings in a day. I worked from 5 in the morning till 10 at night and just took meeting after meeting as fast as I could. And what I did is I practiced every meeting getting better and better, or what I call constant and never-ending improvement, kanai. It's from the Japanese kaizen. And Debbie Edwards-Denning invented that. It's a whole other thing. After I got that practice, and after I got better and improved what I didn't keep hitting the tree with the axe. I sharpened the axe, and then I'd hit the tree. Sharpen the axe, hit the tree. I started getting rewards. I started selling more product, selling more tickets into this program, which I deeply still believe in. And it changed people's lives, and I got that rush. A rush of adrenaline, a rush of endorphins that to this day, you're looking for that high of helping people.
I understand.
Once you have it, it's very addictive. So that got me into the personal training, and and that got me into the other
So
part.
you were with Robbins for 5 years.
I was with him for 5.5 years, yeah.
And
I went to London, England with him. I worked all over the country every week in a different city on a team. I was the outstanding field sales
what was he like as a
representative.
person?
Wonderful.
Because we only know the facade.
Exactly as he is in person is what he was like then. I've never seen him lose his temper. I never saw him, anything other than act as the man and the character that I saw.
Yeah.
He didn't put on what he was on stage. I don't think he still doesn't today. And he didn't back then. He's very true to who he is. And that was an example for me of, I always thought, when the lights go down and the curtain closes, you got a different guy. He could lay back and, he could ride a banana boat and, hang out in his resort in Fiji. But he was driver.
He's
he wanted to be
man.
working. Big guy.
Yeah.
6'7".
Oh, I didn't realize he was that
He's
big.
a big boy.
Wow.
Yeah. His hands are twice the size.
Yeah, well, his upper torso, his head.
Well, he had
huge.
a pituitary or something like that. He went to a doctor and they figured it out. But he's an enormous person, imposing.
At the time, when you started with him, he was almost the only one leading that industry. That
Jim
isn't true
Rohn
now.
would be a big one. He was a huge impact on me. Still today, I listened to Jim Rohn, yesterday. Jim Rohn was my guru for me, as Tony was as equal to Tony. Deepak Chopra, I went to work for Deepak Chopra after him. He had a big impact on me. W. Edwards Deming, who brought quality to the Japanese, huge impact.
You worked with him too?
I was lucky enough to attend his seminars. I knew his secretary a little bit, so I got to spend a little time with him besides in the seminar. He was like 90 back then. And he had a huge impact on me. His books and his teachings today are, I think, seminal to quality.
Yeah.
He didn't believe in posters and slogans and stuff like that. He also taught me something that I say to every day almost, which is the most important numbers are unknown and unknowable. And I think that's very true in every industry. You can make the money, but if it's what you had to do to get there, or you could look at it like the person got all A's, but how did they get those A's or whatever. It's who you are on the way to becoming what you want sort of philosophy, but the most important numbers are unknown and unknowable. Really stuck with me.
All of that was training, I guess, to get you to the platoon.
Yeah.
And tell us what that is. Because I see your trucks. I've often wondered, what is it?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else on it.
It's so strange. I was driving down the street. I was with my wife. We're not married. We've been married 30 years. And I was like, I really want to get in shape. I was in shape. I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, did boot camp, get you in great shape. Valley Forge got me in great shape. And I looked at these and I said, that's the difference. You need something that makes you show up, makes you perform to a certain level. They're not nice to you in boot camp. They're not nice to you in Valley Forge necessarily. You have to do the work. That's all they care about, do the work. And so we developed this program. We did this outdoor boot camp for a while. But very quickly, people were like, I don't really want to do 5 or 6 in the morning. It doesn't work for my day with the kids and things happen often. I want to be able to train when I want to train. And that created personal training. In 1996, we began training people in a 300 square foot facility that really was too small for what I did it. It was so small. It was in a little dry cleaner. And that blew up very quickly, so we had to get more space. Today, that's 10,000 square foot building at 899 Penn Street. All we do is personal training, so we focus on people's strength, endurance, flexibility, mobility, agility, balance. And the people that work with me, my team, they're like personal trainers, massage therapists, physical therapists, psychologists rolled into one. These are incredibly educated people, but they're also incredibly excellent at what they do. They pass through a 40-hour process to become an employee.
But in 96, you were in the forefront of that as well, personal training.
Yep. Yeah, people just came to me and said, I want a personal train. It wasn't like the theater. I didn't invent it. I just was lucky enough to be the guy that the guy who owns the building chose. And that's kind of how personal training happened. People wanted it and happened. And today we have 7 locations and we do corporate and we train for the Naval Academy and West Point and just incredibly. We're up the street here at I Am Health with Rock Walker. He built that building for his family and it's an amazing structure. Anyway, I'll talk all day about that stuff.
brings us
Yes,
to...
I'm sorry.
No. That your background is important to understand why, and what motivates you to want to do this.
I mean, you looked across there and you saw that theater.
Sad.
There must have been a party that said, wonder if I could do something there. Wonder if there's something,
it's true.
even if it's donate.
That's
maybe
true.
There's got to be some way I can help.
I looked at it and said it would make a magnificent opera house because there's nothing like it.
Performance.
Live performances, but I thought an opera house, at least during the season.
I love opera. Luciano Pavarotti.
I just attended an opera, and it was the Vocal Arts Academy.
Oh,
and they
wonderful.
And they performed at Haverford School in Centennial Hall. Beautiful theater.
Good acoustics.
But I left there, as I was thinking about this thing, why can't that be the Anthony Wayne Theater?
Not in this iteration. In this iteration, it's going to be first-run movies, so it'll have those like huge blockbusters.
How many theaters?
I'm not sure yet. We're not exactly 100%. We're using experts, so let me back up.
They divided it into 5.
Well, it was
small
5.
Theaters?
Yes, it was 5. So let me back up further.
Okay.
So 1928, the theater opens. It's got Old San Francisco in there.
Yeah.
The star of the Old San Francisco attends the grand opening at the Anthony Wayne Theater. You walk through the door. We're in gowns and our best attire. This is a very, very important event. When you went to the movies, it was an event. And you had your refreshments, and there were 1,600 seats. It was one theater with 1,600 seats, packed. And it was a centerpiece for this area. Harry Freed, who built it, also had an ice cream. He had an ice cream place right next door to it, and that was where Point 360 was. We also have that. We've leased that space as well, so we can control that as well as the theater. So 1,600 seats isn't the way the movie theater business works. Now it's changed. So they built more smaller theaters in there and kind of put as much as they could in, did what they had to do to keep alive. So there, as it sits today, there are 5 theaters in there. But in the future, my illusion is there won't be 5. I don't think it can support 5. I don't think we need 5. No. I think we need an event space in there that would be an attribute to the community. It can do book readings. It can work with the bookstore locally. So I don't have to compete. Yeah. This isn't a competition, right? Yeah. I want to help all the restaurateurs, and they're trying to help me because they know it's going to benefit them. Sure. So I think we have, an event space in there of some type, and I think we have definitely more than one movie theater, but a big screen and maybe some subsequent screens, and then maybe a place where people can get refreshments that are more than normal. It's not just popcorn and stuff like that.
Tell me about the board. Did they come to you, or did you have to reach out to them?
No,
you got some pretty prominent people.
Suckers is what they are. They answered my call, and they immediately I didn't have to convince anyone.
You knew them all?
All of them. Rory McNeil lives a mile away, is a great example. Without Rory, this wouldn't happen. I tell everyone that. He has been like a friend of mine, but also sort of like a mentor, a guide. He's a legend in philanthropy, but also has done a lot of commercial development stuff. And Rory really started everything out. Everything came together initially with Rory. And he's been instrumental. He's on the executive committee with me. Wade McDevitt, who is McDevitt of the commercial realty. He does a ton of commercial realty work for Urban Outfitters and Anthropology and Free People, and has his companies are all over the country, all over the world, really, and not just in the country. And he's a mile away. He's actually Rory McNeil's next door neighbor. Their land abuts one another. Just by circumstance. I'm not hunting. I'm telling you. But Wade McDevitt knows more about commercial real estate, developing commercial real estate, and really doing this type of project in his fingernail than I know in my entire life history of everything. So he was instrumental in doing it. Those 3 are the executive committee, and really, we formed the nucleus of the rest. Then we started asking people locally who would be very interested. I think of special note would be Sidney Grimm's Fearless Restaurant Group. Her dad is Marty Grimm's. They own 14 restaurants. They're opening Testarossa down the street at the old Bertucci's.
Yes.
And they own Rosalie, which is, if you haven't been there, is fantastic. White Dog, which everyone goes to. And the Mouchalou in Philly. They know restaurants. They know F&B. So you can see, you want somebody who knows what they're doing. And if you've been to their restaurants, you know you're not going to have a bad time. The food's going to be perfect. Everything, the atmosphere is going to be great. They know what they're doing.
Do you have somebody from the film industry as well?
That would be Ashana. Yeah. So Ashana Knight is just the most incredible young lady I ever want to meet. She's written, directed, produced. I mean, she did The Watchers, which is fantastic, incredible. She allowed me to go to her dad's theater in his home. It's 5-10 minutes away from here, and watch part of The Watchers in his movie theater, which is outstanding, and taught me about the industry and about filmmaking and what directors and producers and movie stars and people in that world are looking for. And that gave us, the chance to engage with people like Bradley Cooper and Miles Teller and Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift, and these are all local people. Yes. These people are not foreigners to the Wayne Theater. They know what this is, and there's a lot of movement behind it. I think as well, Nancy Campbell from the Wayne Arts Center. She's the ED there, or executive director. She's a legend and has made that what it is. It's incredible. She's been instrumental. There's no way this would have happened without Rebecca Kane. She runs Mainline School Night. She's gotten them money. She's gotten them attention. I just finished an Irish dancing class there. I'm not going to make any comments. My wife and I went. It was excellent. Rebecca built a theater in Illinois, 72,000 square foot theater for Roger Ebert, and has vast experience in the film industry and in the movie house industry. And I talk to her almost every day.
As a single theater, one-off, will you be able to get first run? I thought they went only to the...
I'm with you. Just two more things. Rich Mattis, the Griffin Cafe, best coffee in the world. I go there every day. When I walk in, they don't ask me what I want. They have never asked me. They just make it, and they know I'm going to love it, and that's it.
They're going to love it.
And he's next door to the theater. Yes. So that means something. Sure. He owns that building, and he's an entrepreneur just like you and I, and runs that. So he's boots on the ground, hearing this every day. What do I want there? What are people there? He's the boots on the ground there. Lauren Adis runs the Lauren Adis Art Studio, Art Collective. She's right on Lancaster Avenue, a couple blocks from Rich. Wired into the community, young mother. I mean, she knows everything about what's going on here and what's happening. And Jay Weber's involved in a lot of investments and stuff. He's local, lives right next to his neighbors with Rory and Wade. Again, I didn't knock on doors, I promise, but it seems like I did. We just have a really incredible board of people that are making a big difference, I think. And there's 9 of us right now.
Your target market?
I mean, I want kids. I want kids.
Okay.
I want kids to come in. I want kids to feel safe. I want kids to have a place to go in Wayne where they can see a movie, but they can also maybe go to an event. Maybe there'll be some sort of an e-gaming element to it, we're hoping. And they can watch others play games and learn from that. That'll get them in there. Maybe we can convince them to watch a book or listen to a lecture or learn how to do something unique in there. I'm hoping it'll be sort of like a gathering place for them where they can have birthday parties and other events.
They have Saturday matinees for the kids?
Yes. Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I don't want to, I can't tell you this is what, I don't even know how many theaters, but I'm hoping that would be our aspiration. This is going to take millions and millions and millions of dollars to get this done. This is going to take some of the biggest philanthropists in our area to commit significant portions of what they donate to this area, to this theater, at least one time to get it going. Yeah. And then what we did is, just interestingly, we took all the public information available for 501c3 theaters in the world and in America and put them in an AI type situation and then used that information to create a P&L pro forma for this theater. So we project how much electricity will cost, how much a seat should be charged, what we should pay for a ticket, how much popcorn we'll sell. All that's in our our existing database, and that gives us what we need in life, which is predictability. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be that, but we have an idea of what that can be, and we have a real-time financial projection of what we can do.
But your competition is still the same. What I mean, television, streaming, that's still there. And that's what led to the demise of the theater in the first place.
Yeah. Movie theaters are, killing it right now. There's articles everywhere you can read about blockbusters coming out. The business has changed from independent films, less gambling on there, more gambling on blockbusters. But I think with our niche, I didn't really finish. I should have its first run. Then it's art house, right? Okay. This is a common theme in theaters. Yes. First run art house. Then you have the live element. Then you have maybe e-gaming. Then you have events. So we're having multiple streams where we can affect the community, drive income, and perpetuate this thing for many, many lifetimes. So the theater, I think, will mean a lot to the community because it's going to be broadly based. It'll have talks from the local bookstore. It'll have live music like 118 North, the guy who runs that. Kenny Kearns runs the Wayne Business Association, has been instrumental. You may have read, he's done some interviews about how positive this is and what he can do to help. And Christopher Todd of Christopher's has been instrumental. All these people are involved in what we're doing, so you're going to see that in the final product. We're all responsible for what this becomes.
Will you be able to stage live theater?
I believe so, yeah. I believe we'll be able to do small live theater. Now, we will be able to have a backstage and all the other. I'm not sure yet, but I don't know that today you need as much of that. Maybe stand-up comedy. Yeah. Maybe
family comedy.
Family comedy, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that you're getting into programming, and I'm not a builder, I'm not a programmer. I'm just the guy trying to herd everything together and figure out what we can do to best, benefit the community.
Are you searching now for manager? And
we're almost there. I want to make sure we know what it's going to be, and we're almost there. Once we know, this is we know vision, mission, purpose, but what do we want to do? How is this going to be run? Who is going to be responsible? It's going to be a traditional setup, but we have a live element and we have a theater element. I'm sure that I'm going to get somebody who's the best there is in the industry for getting us movies in there. I'm sure we're going to get the best in the industry for back of house. We already have Sidney Grimm's and Fearless Restaurant, and all these other, restaurants in the area are just want to get in there and help. So I think we're going to have a unique offer.
Can Wayne accommodate the parking needs you're going to have?
I believe that it can. I think that, you can always, no place, you don't ever go somewhere and they say they have way too much parking. You know what I mean? So I think that's always something. But I got to speak personally. I mean, I really haven't had a hard time parking. I'm willing to walk a few blocks. Yeah. I'm willing to drive around once or twice. I get a breakfast here, or I get a lunch there, or a dinner here. My daughter works at Christopher's, and she often parks on the street and uses the meter app. I use the app. I think it's wonderful. I have a location in Philadelphia that's at 8th and Walnut. That's tough parking. That you're not going to find parking. That's a whole different level of parking. This is the main line. So when people can't find a spot, then it's not to be. But if you wait 5 seconds and you're willing to maybe be courteous for another person and pull out of the spot rather than sit there on the phone, then people are going to have spots. I had this afternoon. I parked. There's 5 empty spots in front of your building on Lancaster Avenue, in front of
the Wayne train station. So
I love that.
You'll pull from that as well.
And the other lot, that whole big lot.
On the side.
100%.
When
that said, I'd love to see more parking, but.
Well, again, as you know, there was only talk about putting a parking garage up at the top of the hill.
That's needed.
I think it's dead, though. I don't think it's going anywhere.
I've heard that before. We can even, like I said, nowhere do you go and they say we have way too much parking here.
You've been in the business of working with individuals and maybe organizations to set goals.
Yes.
And to work towards those goals according to a methodology.
Yes. How
will you define success for the revitalized Anthony Wayne Theater?
There's only one measure. Will people, are people using it? Not are people using it, 5 weeks from now, but are people using it 25 years from now? Or is it sitting empty again? That would be success to me. If you go over there 25 years from now, 30 years from now, and you say, God, I can't wait to go there. And wait a minute, before I say this isn't like some dream. There is a specific cinema that I'm kind of modeling over in Europe where you cannot get in. You have memberships are sold out. You cannot be a member.
Membership.
You can't get a ticket. Oh yeah, to get a ticket, you must be a member, and memberships are sold out. If you want to see a movie in this theater, you must be a member.
Wow.
To be a member, you are allowed to apply. You're not guaranteed a ticket, but you're allowed to get a ticket. That's the kind of experience you want where it's like incredible and people love it, and I need 10 more of them.
That's a high aspiration.
If I could be that, then I would have lived a life well lived. This is something that I'm hoping, 25, 30 years from now, they're like, this is a great addition. I wonder who did this. What a great addition. They won't remember who did it, but they'll remember that it was done.
Regrettably, we're running out of time, but I think you've told the story that people should be excited about, and I hope will be excited.
They should be more than excited. They should be giving. They need to give money for this to happen. That's all what's this going to. I can't do it alone. None of my board members can do it alone. We need the help of the community. We need the help of the largest philanthropists in this area, which there are many.
So people who want to know more and maybe get involved,
contact me directly.
How do we do that?
Contact me directly. My phone number and my email address are very easily found. Todd Scott, platoonfitness.com, 610-389-3525, or you can email me at todd@anthonywaynetheater.org.
There's no website yet for
There's anthonywaynetheater.org is our website. You'll see our PR company on there. Brian and Tierney Communications is on there. I will say that, this has been just an incredible, you wake up in the morning and you're just like on fire to get this going.
It's great. It's great
you know the feeling.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
It is wonderful. Thank you for having me in.
No, thank you. My guest today has been Todd Scott, who is the mastermind behind the Anthony Wayne Theater Organization. Until next time, I'm Rick Anthony. Take very good care of yourselves.